The year is 1221. The retired emperor of Japan has just declared war on the Kamakura Shogunate, the military government that has ruled the country for nearly 4 decades. His imperial army is mobilizing. Every samurai lord in the east is being asked to choose a side, the emperor in Kyoto or the shogunate in Kamakura. Into that silence steps a Buddhist nun. She is 64 years old. Her head is shaved. She has taken vows of renunciation. She has no formal title. And every warrior in that courtyard, thousands of armed men, goes completely quiet to hear what she has to say. She says, "Remember the debt you owe to Yoritomo. Now repay it." They chose the shogunate. The imperial army was crushed in weeks. Stay with me, because the story of how she got to that courtyard is stranger than the speech itself. In 1180, Hojo Masako was 22 years old, the daughter of a minor provincial lord named Hojo Tokimasa. She had options: a comfortable marriage to a safe man, a quiet life in the eastern provinces. She chose none of it. Instead, she chose Minamoto no Yoritomo. This was not a rational decision. Yoritomo was a political prisoner on parole. As a teenager, he had survived a purge that killed most of his clan. The victorious Taira clan allowed him to live in exile in Izu, technically free, practically a marked man. Marrying him meant marrying his enemies, his debts, and his death sentence if his luck ran out. Her father Tokimasa refused. He arranged another match for her. Masako walked out of it. According to later accounts, she went to Yoritomo directly. Her father's response was to send men to retrieve her. Masako and Yoritomo fled through the mountains in the middle of the night. Tokimasa eventually relented. His daughter had already made her decision. The Genpei War lasted 5 years. By 1185, the Taira were broken. The clan Masako's husband had spent his whole life fearing was gone. Their last survivors drowned at the Battle of Dan no Ura. Yoritomo was the uncontested military master of Japan. He built the Bakufu, Japan's first military government, at Kamakura. Power was no longer with the imperial court. It lived with warriors now in the east. Masako was at his side through all of it. She bore him 4 children, navigated treacherous politics, and by every account was not merely the shogun's wife. She was his counsel. Then, in the winter of 1199, Yoritomo fell from his horse. He died within weeks. He was 52 years old. Taking Buddhist vows after a husband's death was not unusual for aristocratic women of the period. It was a form of mourning, of withdrawal from the world. It was not supposed to be a career move. Masako's eldest son, Yori, became the second shogun. He was 19, untested, and surrounded by men who wanted to use him. Masako watched him try to assert his own power over the Regency Council, a council increasingly dominated by her own family, the Hojo. When Yori tried to bypass them and issue rulings directly, the council pushed back. The shogun found himself being managed. He grew resentful. He began plotting. Within 4 years, Yori was deposed, confined to a monastery, and murdered. His younger brother Sanetomo became the 3rd shogun at age 11. Masako was now the mother of the shogun, the daughter of the regent, and the widow of the man who had founded the entire institution. She held no title. She wielded total authority. The nickname History would give her, Nun Shogun, captures exactly the contradiction she embodied. but the title understates the ruthlessness. By 1205, Masako's father, Hojo Tokimasa, had served as regent for 4 years. He had survived the Genpei War, outlived Yoritomo, outmaneuvered rivals. He was now the second most powerful man in Japan. He wanted to be first. His plan was straightforward: murder Sanetomo, the young shogun, and install his own preferred candidate, a man tied to his second wife's faction. Then the Hojo patriarch would be not just the regent, but the kingmaker of a new line entirely. Masako found out. She went to Sanetomo personally, removed him from her father's reach, and then sent word that Tokimasa was finished. The old man, who had once sent soldiers to drag her back from a man he disapproved of, was stripped of his position and exiled to Izu. He would die there. Her brother Yoshitoki became the new regent. Masako had effectively chosen her successor. The Hojo family's grip on power tightened, but it would be her grip, not her father's. For 14 years, Masako protected the shogunate. She guided Sanetomo, managed his regency, kept the various competing clans from tearing the institution apart. Sanetomo grew into a poet more than a politician, a gentle, literary man who seemed unsuited to the violence of his position. In 1219, Sanetomo was assassinated at the Tsurugaoka Hachimangu shrine in Kamakura on a winter night by his own nephew, the son of his murdered brother Yori. The Minamoto shogunal line was over. The dynasty Yoritomo had founded, the one Masako had bled to protect, had no direct heir. 3 generations of shoguns, and all of them dead by violence, conspiracy, or early death. In 1221, retired Emperor Go-Toba saw his opportunity. He declared the Kamakura regent an outlaw and called on all samurai lords to rally to the imperial cause. For a moment, for just a moment, it seemed possible. The shogunate was fractured, grieving, without a genuine Minamoto at its head. What Go-Toba may not have calculated was Masako. She called the assembled warrior lords to the courtyard at Kamakura. She did not send a subordinate. She stood before them herself, a 64-year-old nun who had buried her husband and both her sons. And she spoke. The account preserved in the Azuma Kagami records the essence. Yoritomo had given these men lands, and titles, and protection. That relationship, that bond between the first shogun and his warriors, was the foundation of everything they had. The emperor was asking them to throw it away. Was there any among them, she asked, who wished to set that aside? There was not. The Kamakura army marched west in 3 columns, and the imperial force was defeated in 3 weeks. Go-Toba and 2 other retired emperors were exiled to remote islands. The Hojo regent issued new land settlements across the country. The shogunate was, if anything, stronger than before. No one in Kyoto, or anywhere else, seriously challenged it again for a generation. Hojo Masako died in 1225, 4 years after the Jokyu War. She was 67 years old. The Hojo family would serve as regents of the Kamakura Shogunate for another century, until 1333. The system she defended outlasted her by more than 100 years. Consider the evidence. She chose her husband against her father's will. She managed the transition from the first shogunate to the second. She exiled her own father when he threatened the institution she had built. She presided over the regency that replaced the Minamoto line entirely. She delivered a speech that determined the outcome of a civil war. And she sent 3 emperors into exile. The title Nun Shogun was never official. It did not need to be. Everyone who came after her knew exactly what it meant.